89 AD, arena burns under the sun. A gladiator stands over three bodies he has just cut down. The crowd is on its feet. Senators cheer. The emperor signals approval. And for this display of blood, the champion receives a prize that Rome valued more than coins, more than laurel wreaths, more than promises of freedom. He is given a woman, a Dacian captive, shackled, frightened, dragged into the bowels beneath the. Not a gift, a right, a tradition, something the Roman world accepted as naturally as applause. This is Victoria, the carnal reward system of the Roman Empire. Not legend, not Hollywood. Documented by Juvenal, recorded by Suetonius, written plainly by Martial. Rome, the civilization of aqueducts, roads, law, philosophy, and women handed out as trophies to men soaked in blood. Today, you'll hear what ancient authors actually wrote about what happened beneath those arenas. Beneath the sand, beneath the cheering, what gladiators did with captive women, and how Rome made it a ritual. I'm Crown and Dagger, and this is the truth. The system Rome never hid. Imagine being owned, locked in the brutal training camp for gladiators. You survive enough fights, you earn the crowd's roar, and your reward menu appears. A pouch of coins, wine, a soft bed for one night, or Victoria, sexual access to a captive woman. Every Roman writer who documented gladiatorial culture mentions it. Suetonius, Tacitus, Cassius, Martial, Juvenal. This was policy. Women taken from conquered territories, Dacia, Gaul, Germania, Britannia, catalogued, transporting, processed through military camps, and delivered to as state property. Not prostitutes, not slaves you could buy. Spoils, living reminders to conquered enemies that Rome owned everything. Even their daughters. This wasn't decadence. It was political messaging. Rome ruled. Everyone else existed to kneel. What actually happened under the arena? After a victor saluted the editor, he was led down into the hypogeum, the underground maze beneath the arena floor. Martial describes fighters walking past rows of holding cells. Some women still wore ripped, dirt-stained garments from their capture. Others had been washed and prepared, presentable, as one Roman inscription says. The gladiator pointed. Guards unlocked chains. A clerk noted the selection on a wax tablet. One Dacian female, 20 years of age, assigned to gladiator under Victoria, returned by dawn. Return, as if she were borrowed equipment. Light the torches. Secure the doors from the outside. The arena chambers, archaeologically confirmed, had stone benches and iron rings in the walls. Rome didn't improvise cruelty. It built rooms for it. Women were not allowed to refuse. They had no legal standing. They were objects in Roman inventory, distributed like food rations. Why Rome did this to conquered women? Tacitus explains Rome's strategy clearly. Conquering men isn't enough. You break a people by breaking the women they fought to protect. Trajan's conquest of Dacia, thousands of Dacian women brought to Rome, many from noble families, used as gladiator rewards during 123 days of victory games. A message carved into the empire's memory. Fight Rome, and we destroy not only your warriors, but your lineage. Cassius, writing about the aftermath of regional wars, describes captured aristocratic women used in these rituals because humiliating highborn captives shattered the pride of conquered nations. Rome didn't just want obedience. Rome wanted nations to admit defeat at the deepest level, their future. The logistics of human spoils. Arena administrators kept lists, literal spreadsheets of the ancient world. Age, origin, physical condition, previous owner, availability, all documented. Procurement officers coordinated with generals. Campaign in Dacia. Expect 300-500 captive women shipped to Rome within months. No war that year. Shortages occurred. Arena managers complained in official correspondence that they had to substitute coin rewards when captives were scarce. Rome industrialized the practice. The silence of the spectators. This system only worked because everyone else stayed quiet. Seneca wrote after attending the games, "I returned home more greedy, more cruel, more inhuman." Why? Not because gladiators killed, but because thousands watched violations and cruelty as if they were watching. Citizens brought their children. Fathers explained to sons. She resisted Rome, this is what happens. Tacitus recounts a senator who questioned arena practices under Tiberius. Within a month, he was accused of treason and exiled. Silence wasn't cowardice. Silence was survival. Under Emperor Claudius, 3 citizens left the arena during executions. He had them killed. Leaving suggested moral disapproval, and that was treason. Rome made spectators complicit. When Rome crossed even its own line, sometimes the empire pushed too far. Emperor, obsessed with gladiators, expanded Victoria beyond captives. He started taking daughters of senators, Roman citizens, and treating them like war prizes. Cassius records the incident that ended him. A senator's daughter was seized. Her father resisted. The guards killed him immediately. She was taken anyway. That night the elite plotted assassination. Not because they suddenly grew a conscience, but because he blurred the line between them and foreigners. He died in his bath that December. Another rupture came under Nero. Christian women publicly violated before execution. The crowd, even those who hated Christians, reacted with disgust. Some began quietly leaving. Nero blocked the exits. Rome punished witnesses who refused to watch. What Roman Historians themselves thought. Suetonius. No moral, just clinical reporting. Martial. Satire. Mockery. Not outrage, amusement at hypocrisy. Tacitus. The closest thing to condemnation. Even for enemies of the state, the punishment exceeded justice. Juvenal. His satire portrays Roman society as morally diseased, but he never calls for change. Seneca. He hated the games, despised what they did to him, but offered no solution. Cassius. His criticisms were strategic, not moral. These practices incited rebellions. The empire's moral compass wasn't. Is this right? It was. Does this help Rome? The warning carved in stone. When you strip this story to its core, you find a truth older than Rome. Civilizations fall when cruelty becomes routine. Rome didn't collapse because it was attacked. Rome collapsed because it convinced itself that brutality was normal. Gladiators. Slaves performing cruelty for survival. Captive women. Inventory items in a bureaucratic system of dehumanization. Citizens. Complicit spectators afraid to speak. Historians. Recording the horrors without demanding it end. Over 400,000 people died in Roman arenas. Countless captives endured the chambers beneath the sand. And Rome believed it was civilized. The ruins remain. Tourists walk through them. Guides tell heroic stories. But beneath that sand, beneath that stone, the real story whispers. Power without limits doesn't just corrupt. It reshapes humanity. Until no one sees the horror anymore. This is the story Rome tried to bury.